Hi everyone, welcome to our final installment for the tray. So you've gone through and you finished cutting all your edges and you have joints everywhere. So let me show you what that looks like. I have on the bottom of my tray, I can see this is my main wall going across. This is my, first wall I built, second one, third one, and fourth one. I can see all the tabs coming through the bottom. All my sides have tabs coming through the bottom. And if I highlight each of these, see how I can see all three sides with tabs on all three sides? And I can check each one to make sure that they are correct. And they are. So they're all ready to rock and roll. Bam. So next thing we need to do is we need to cut the handle into our middle divider. So to do that, I'm going to use a technique where I'm going to use a bunch of circles. So let's get to it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of everything but the handle. So I'm just going to hide everything else so I'm not having to look through it. I'm going to focus just on this one piece. And I'm going to create a sketch right here on the front face. Although you can do the back face, doesn't matter. And I'm going to first start by putting in some construction lines. So I want my handle to, at the top of the handle, have at least ½ centimeter of plywood left. If you make that strip of plywood at the top really small, it's going to tend to break over time. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in a construction line going straight, going straight across. That's that 90 degrees I'm looking for. And then I'm going to dimension that line to ½ a centimeter, I should say. So 0.5. So I know I'm not going to get into that. That's going to be, nothing is going to be up in there for the hole in my handle. I'm going to create a little hole for it. All right. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to just add some more construction lines. I know I'm going to need the middle at some point, right? The middle is always important. So I'm going to pop the middle in. And then I'm also going to put in a construction line for the top of the box. So the top of the box goes right at the top of that notch. So that lets me know where I don't want to go below that for sure. I want everything above that. And yeah, now I think I'm ready. So I want a little hole, I don't know, about ish in the handle so I can stick my finger and grab it and pull it up more easily. So I'm just going to grab two circles. Let me show you how this works. So I'm going to come over here, anywhere over here. I'm just going to draw a circle real quick. I'm going to make it an actual circle, not a construction circle. And I'm going to say, okay, let's call this 2 centimeters. That's how wide our opening is going to be. All right, that looks good. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do another one at 2 centimeters. Again, notice that they're not lined up with anything quite yet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up so that this circle is touching this line and touching this line. To do that, we use what's called a tangent tool. So tangent tools are used in two main ways. One is to get a circle to barely touch something. That's what tangent really means. Tangent means it's touching in one point. So the circle comes up, swoops up, and barely touches in one point, then swoops back down. That's what tangent means. So to do that, I'm going to use this tangent tool right here. You see how it has a circle with a line barely touching it? Well, I want this circle to barely touch this construction line. But what I'm going to do is I don't want this to be a super wide hole because I'm not going to put like all 4 fingers. I'm just going to go like this and pinch it and pull it up. You can make yours wider. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tangent, I'm going to make a tangent to this as well. Now notice that my circle is blocked in black now. Now it can't move left or right. It's attached to both those lines. And I'm going to do the same thing for this circle. I'm going to make a tangent here and make a tangent here. The other thing I could have done is I could have made a tangent to the top line and then made it a certain distance away from the middle line. If I wanted to be wider, I could make it 2 centimeters away from the middle line and make them wider apart. But I like, this looks pretty good to me. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what a tangent tool also do. So I'm going to grab a line tool and I'm going to connect these two. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to connect it in some bad place like this, right? This does not look like a good place to connect these two. Whoops, I did not connect them. Okay, let me try it again. I'm going to grab here. I want to make sure I'm connecting the two circles. So a line there. Okay, now I got a little X, so I'm definitely connecting now. And notice how this comes down and there's a little kink here. Well, that's the other thing a tangent tool does. The tangent tool makes a line come off in a very smooth with the arc instead of and having a little kink in it. Let me show what that looks like. So I choose the tangent tool, I click the line, and I click the circle. It's going to move that line. Notice how it moved that line right up here so that it's nice and smoothly coming off. And it also made this one tangent too, and that's because when I drew the line, I drew it in a way that said make it horizontal. So the only way to make a tangent was to move the whole horizontal line up, and then it was tangent on both. Had I drawn that, let me show you in the bottom what I mean. So I'm going to do another connecting line in the bottom. This time though, I'm not going to pull it straight across. I'm going to pull it at a weird angle. Like, see how that's like at a weird angle now? So now if I do tangent, it's not trying to keep the line parallel or level, right? Horizontal, I should say. So I'm going to click here and click here. And notice how it made this one come off nice and smooth. So that was pretty good. Notice how now there's no kink in there, whereas in this one there's this little kink right there. Now I click on this one and click here. And notice this one had to move in order to make that one tangent. Now they're both tangent. They both come off perfectly smooth. And that right there, I'm going to cut out this whole area here. I'm going to cut out this area, this one, this one, this one together, and that's my little slot for my hand to go into. Okay, so that worked out great. Now what I'm going to do is create that same thing, but bigger. I want to create it so that the circle starts in the middle here, centered in this one, but touches this outside edge, and that's going to create the curve around the handle. So let's do that. I'm going to go here. Click here on the circle. Now I'm going to go up here until I see this X up here. See that tangent right there? Now I'm barely touching that top line. And I can click enter. And that draws a circle there. I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. So here I'm going to find, like there, I have an X, which means I'm touching the line. But notice it touches it twice. I want to go here to where it's tangent. To where, ooh, just barely touches once. Just like that. That's what it's another thing a tangent means. Now I'm going to connect these two at the top because this is the top of my box. So I'm going to say like here-ish and I don't know, here-ish. And I'm going to make those two tangent. I did it at a wonky angle so you could see the tangent thing again. So make a tangent to this one and make a tangent to this one. And now there's a line going across there. So that's the top of my handle. That's the top curve of my handle. Now I want this to curve off of this circle down this way and then curve to this corner. So I need to put another turn in here. So I'm going to use another circle for that. I'm going to just eyeball it. I'm going to say, I want to be fairly small. I'm going to say a 1 centimeter diameter. And I don't know if I like it right there. Because what I want to do is I want this line to come off of here, tangent, hit this tangent, and then turn and come to here. So this is going to be the thing that I turn the line with. And I think maybe that looks pretty good actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up now. So I'm going to say, okay, I need to know where this is. So I'm going to, oops, escape. I'm going to come up here and grab a line tool and put a construction line in. I'm going to put a construction line across the center point of this one because I have to line up another one over here. And I'm going to do a vertical one here and a vertical line there, just so I can line up both circles. So to do that, I'm going to go to the circle, and then I'm going to move off to the left. And notice how it's keeping me lined up with the center of that circle. I'm going to hit here and go straight across. Looks like it's not doing a construction line. Weird. Why didn't it draw a construction line? Let me escape that real quick. I'm going to highlight this line and see if I can make it a construction line. There it goes. Now it's working. Okay. So now I have construction lines. I'm going to click here. Same thing here. I'm going to go from here, go up to here, now click, and then come straight down with a non-construction line again for some reason. What just happened? This thing is wigging out on me here. Go up here to here, and then come straight down to there. Escape. And again, it's not drawing construction lines to start with. Super bizarro world. All right, so now I'm going to turn construction lines again. Maybe it'll work this time. Oh, no, I didn't do that. I need to dimension this. So notice how these two are orange. Oh, wait, that one should be non-construction. That should be a regular circle. Notice how these two construction lines are orange. That means they're not been placed yet. They're not dimensioned in. So I'm going to dimension this first one in. And I'm just going to live with, I think, whatever pops up. Well, no, I'm not, because 2.895 is going to be a lot to type in. I'm going to say this should be more like 3. Just a nice round number. And then I'm going to say this one to here. And again, I'm going to give this one 1.25 or 1.2. It was 1.149 or something. Now notice how my circle's not on this spot again. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to hit a constraint, and I'm going to say coincident, which means 2 points that overlap, or 2 things that overlap each other. I'm going to choose the center mark here. I'm going to choose this line, and I'm going to hit the center mark and choose this line. Now it's lined up with both those lines, and the only place that happens is right in the middle. So that's great. And now I just need to draw another construction line here. Yay, construction line. I don't know why it's suddenly working now. And then I'm going to distance it 3 centimeters from the outside edge. So dimension it from here to here is 3 centimeters. Now it's lined up. I'm going to draw my next circle. I'm going to start it. Not there. I'm going to start it there. And a non-construction circle. I remember we said that was a 1 centimeter circle. Enter. So now we have 2 identical circles. And now we're going to just connect the line from here, swooping down here into the corner. All right, so I'm going to start here, swoop down. Oh, look, I already got tangent there, so that's good. I'm going to use that tangent. And this other one's not tangent. You look up here, see how it passes under the circle there? So I'm going to say, we'll see what happens when I do this. So click here and make a tangent, and notice it puts it to where it just comes perfectly smoothly off. So now I've got a smooth arc coming off that side. And then I'm going to go with a line from this corner, which is the corner of my box, to there, tangent. If I put it there, I won't be able to move it. I'll have to delete it, because now it'll be stuck to the circle where the construction line went through. I got to keep going until I find tangent, and then good. Now, or I can do it like anywhere there's an X. I just can't do it like on this line, because if I do it here, I can always come use my tangent tool. As long as it's blue, I can still move it. And I can say, okay, make a tangent, and it puts it right to where that would have been. All right, so that's the outside edge. All of this is going to get deleted away. We're going to extrude all that away. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm just going to grab a tool here, and then tangent there, and then click on this line and click tangent there. Now that's all lined up nicely. And then one last line. And if I start off the circle first, it'll actually give me the tangent option on the second thing you click. And then there it is. Awesome. So now all we need to do is cut some stuff away. So before we get to that, I'm going to show you more clearly what we're doing. So this middle stuff, I can use this trim tool to trim some of my sketch lines. So I'm going to get rid of all of this middle stuff and show you what this looks like. Notice it's only cutting the red part of the curve. So I'm opening up this middle circle. I don't even know what that line was for. Oh, it's not deleting that one. It should be able to delete that one. It's not for whatever reason. So this opening in here, this is going to be all of this is going to be the hole that I grab onto. And then here, this is all solid wood. So around here is solid wood, and all of this is solid wood. So I'm going to remove these real quick. Notice as I'm doing this, I'm actually deleting some of the lines that define where everything is. Whoops, don't want that. I'm going to do the trim tool, get rid of those ones, that one. So that's why these lines are turning blue. At this point, everything is placed. I don't have to worry about the blue or the black. Okay, so you can see that outside part. And then That's fine, leave that there. So now you can kind of see it. Like, here's the hole that I'm gonna cut a hole in. I'm gonna leave all of this as wood, and then this is gonna get cut away. So let's go ahead and do that. It's open up enough now that we can do it easily. So I'm gonna extrude. This is one thing I'm gonna kill. This I'm gonna get rid of, and this I'm gonna get rid of, leaving the rest of the wood behind. So here I'm gonna say, I want to extrude. I'm going to just push it through, and I'm going to say, don't go all the way, just go all the way through. That's it. And then click OK. And now my box is done. So all I need to do is turn everything on. And now I've got a nice little handle on my box. It comes right to there. Everything looks fantastic. This is going to work out great. So boom, you can see my little tray is ready to rock and roll. Now all I need to do is flatten it. You've flattened enough stuff already. If you're this far through, you probably don't need help flattening anything. So, but what I am going to do is I'm going to copy everything. I don't know why that didn't work. I'm going to copy everything. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say copy. And then I'm going to go down, and for the first time, we're going to be using our finish or flattened tray. And I'm going to paste into the flattened tray. And I'm going to remind myself where everything else is. So I'm going to turn on my flattened box. Okay, so I want to move the flattened tray stuff over to like yay. And I'm going to click OK. And now I'm just going to check to make sure it's in there. Yep, there it all is. And now I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to turn off the flattened box. And now I'm going to just do a home, and I'm going to make this the active component. So now it's gray. And now I'm just going to flatten. So just like before, you click on Modify, Align. I'm going to align everything to the bottom if I possibly can. Let's see. Well, maybe I pull the first thing out because I can't see the middle right now. So I'm going to do a Move command, and I'm going to take this one, move it up, and move it sideways. Now let's see if I can flatten stuff down. Click OK. And now I'm going to modify, align, and I'm going to find the middle of this one and the middle of the bottom. Click OK. Hit the move. M for move tool, bring it out and just make sure that it's flat. It is not. It's one thickness too high. So I am just going to move it down one thickness. So I'm going to, because it's pointing up, I'm going to move it down. I'm going to say negative thickness. Enter, and now it's down where it's supposed to be. Click OK. And now let's do the rest of them. So we're going to do modify, align. I'm actually going to do this one next. This, the middle of this one to the middle of that one. And I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to move it. And I'm going to slide it out. I'll slide it out this way. Leave a little bit of extra space for the other one to come through. Make sure that it's the right level. It looks like it is. I'm going to click OK. I can always lower it later if I need to, if I find I've messed that up. And I'm just going to keep doing this for all of them. And then click OK. And that's pretty good. Like, I think they're all flat. They're all nice and flat. I'm gonna look at straight from the back like this. If I click straight in the back like this, I'll see if any of them are high or low, and they're not. So I am ready to rock and roll. So that's my DXF file now. I don't need to try and get them like perfectly arranged. I am going to rotate them so the top is, the word top is right. Because I can always move them around in Inkscape later. I just need to get a file together. So this is going to be my total. So my total distance here is going to be from the lowest possible point here to the upper point there. Yeah. Let's do a quick measure. So I'm going to do a measure from this top line to this bottom line. Yep, and that is 36.138. Okay, so the next thing, I'm going to keep that number for later. So make sure I have that because I need it for Inkscape. In fact, I'm going to make that part of my DXF file name. So the last thing I want to do now is I want to create a sketch of this bottom. So when this asks me this, I just say capture position, capture the current position or continue in the previous. If you do continue, it's going to move things, it's going to like unalign them, which is just so frustrating. So right now I've got this one on my sketch. I've got the outline of that one on my sketch. That one's done. And now I just need to project the other ones. I can do a project or intersect on these other ones. Project is probably safer for now. So I'm just going to click on all of these and it's going to instantly draw my cut lines for me. And now once I have that, I come down here to my sketches and I can turn this off and say, oh, my 9, I have to say okay first, sorry. Okay. And now it's going to draw those on there for me. And now I can turn my sketch off and I can see, okay, yep, those are the ones I want. And this one's already included because I started with that one. And now I'm just going to right click on my sketch and say save as a DXF. And I'm going to call it first name, last name, and tray. I'm going to say box tray. Or maybe inset tray. That's a better description. And then I'm going to click save. And now I'm going to open up my, so I have some files from before. I've got a box Inkscape file that I've tried to fit as much of the box and the lid on. And then if I had any overflow, I have a second file with that overflow pieces. Well, I'm going to start with that overflow file and import this in there, resize it down, and then try and get it to fit on there as well, just like before. And if I need a third piece, I can go to a third piece, but I'm going to try and twist and mess with this to fit them on there the best I can, and try to use as little plywood as possible. I might also go back and look at my box file, the first one that I thought was full, and I might find a little place to wiggle in some things like this, and you can just copy and paste these things from one thing to another. Just remember, when you ungroup and you go to regroup, these little holes in the middle that are drawn in here, all these little holes are separate little rectangles. So if I ungroup all of this before I go to try to move this outside piece, I need to make sure to regroup all of this. Otherwise, I'll move the outside line and leave this circle and all these little boxes behind. So you're going to do some grouping and ungrouping. All right, best of luck to you. I hope you've enjoyed making this. I'm going to cut one real quick so I have it for class maybe. Have a good one, everybody.